What's up? Welcome to another edition of XFeed. If this is your first time clicking on a video, what's up? Hope your day's going well. There's an ice storm outside today, and I hope that you don't have to deal with that. And we're going to be talking about different locations, right? Because imagine living somewhere where you don't have an ice storm, where your internet might not go out, your car won't start, and the roads aren't dangerous. That sounds phenomenal. Is there a way to get there? Winning the lottery, finding the goods in crypto, buying the right stuff. It's funny to learn about investing, to be honest. Like, I don't remember back in high school that I ever cared about that. And then we come along, we find this Web3 thing, and we love it. It's all exciting. It's all exciting. But don't forget. Is it investing? Is it gambling? That's up for you to decide. All right. So I want you to just like picture for a second that you're sitting on a couple grand, decent amount of money. And you're like, all right, I have nothing to do. Don't have extra bills. This is savings, whatever. And you hear these things about NFTs, specifically these fat NFTs called pudgy penguins, right? And you go on X and you see this like AI bot saying pudgy penguins floor crossed 14 ETH with volume spiking to the highest level since June. Supply shock intensifying as long-term holders refuse to sell into strength. Do you say, you know what? That sounds kind of like a toppish signal. That sounds kind of toppish. Or do you say, all right, I'm going to full port it. I like the idea that long-term holders are refusing to sell, allegedly. So then you go on the market and you look. It's up another 2%. It's at 53. Oh, it's at 21. Oh, it's at 21.99 ETH. Oh, okay. Let's go over to OpenSea and try to, break down the US dollar value of that. Well, I mean, for the WETH offer, it's 77,000 US, right? Canadian, that's a lot more. We'll get into the Canadian dollar in a second. But look at these. $85,000 for an NFT. Did everybody said NFTs were dead? Now, do we have arguments between the different communities that there are? Oh, why isn't this collection worth that? This is what we do, comparisons all the time. What's behind the sauce? Get to that in a second. Tim Livingston saying that they tried to get one of the VFriends V1 robot NFTs back in 21, but they sold 7 pudgy penguins. So that'd be about almost $700,000 at this point, right? For clarification, when people say, you have to keep like a moon bag, all these references to things, everybody makes decisions based on what we think is right at the time. Sometimes we have to be patient about things. Speaking of VFriends, the patient panda, but crazy retrospective, right? And this is another one that's on that same topic, and we'll get back to pudgies in a second. Matt Fury, creator of Pepe the Frog, received 1 trillion of the Pepe token. You might be familiar. That went super parabolic and worth a lot. He sold his tokens for $600,000. Phenomenal. Love it. 1 trillion Pepe would be worth 24 million today. Okay, so right? It depends how you frame this narrative and when you look at the patience factor. So looking at talking a little bit about the pudgy penguin, which is obviously the catalyst for all this price action. To provide clarity for the pudgy community, there is no snapshot, which is probably good because people get rinsed on secondary for it. Once live, your Pengu allocation is attached to the NFT, and there will be a claim live for 88 days. Now, what's funny is there's a lot of people that probably won't claim this. And like a lot, I don't mean insane amounts, but probably like 40 to 100, if not more. Because this happened. People didn't claim the Bored Ape Kennel Dogs. People didn't claim the ape token on the different NFTs. It's not something where you can just be passive on a lot of these. It's not. Even for tokens, you'll find that a lot of them end up pivoting or stake this token to earn this one, or burn. A lot of people that just don't check in. But here's Luca Nets making that announcement at Art Basel.
I want to get the energy a little hot in here because I think we got a really big moment, not only for Pudgy Penguins, but I think for the entire space. So if you guys don't mind, when I say Pudgy, you say Penguins. Pudgy!
Penguin!
Pudgy!
Penguin!
Pudgy!
Penguin!
Hey man, I don't know if you guys know, but it's been a fucking incredible ride these last couple of years. We came into this not knowing what we were going to expect, I'll tell you that, and I'm not going to give you guys a sob story, but we really put our blood, sweat, and tears into this, and I also really want to put a huge emphasis and give kudos and credits to the community I mean, this community has been ridiculed and kicked down, and this is our fucking time to shine right here, right now. So give it one more time for the Pudgy fucking Penguins.
You know what's funny about that? Not to interrupt the wonderful speech here, but it's like every NFT has been absolutely just punched in the face repeatedly, whether it be X holders, whether it be something going bad in the bear market. Pudgy Penguin, obviously they ended up selling off because there was all this drama and stuff around the original team, and not really like or a perceived intention to actually like build out further than launching the collection. So that's where some of that has come from. But I feel over the past like year plus, like I feel like Pudgies have gotten a lot of love. But yo, Jigabit, what's up? What's up? What's up?
So we got a little bit of a special moment here. We got a countdown. I want you guys to count down with me when we press play on this thing. I think for us, it's when thinking about this decision is how do we take this to the next level? How do we make Pudgy and the Pudgy Pengu a cultural phenomenon? And I think we got it figured out. Over the last couple of years, we really put our best foot forward, but I think what you're going to see here in the next 6 to 7 months is really going to set the bar in a way that I think crypto's never seen before. So, without further ado, if the chef is ready, let's count this bad boy down. 10, 8, 7, 6,
10, 8.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's watch this.
It began with the rise of the liquidity extractors. Countless projects emerged, each a beacon of hope. Yet most succumbed to greed and folly. But in this frozen expanse, a group emerged that could brave the cold. Using their unbreakable bond, Pudgy Penguins forged a warm light in the cold, endless darkness, and summoned a divine power. The penguin gods bestowed upon them a golden egg, a symbol of their collective might. And so they nurtured this egg with their unity, their strength, and their will to hatch a mastermind. One coin to rule them all.
It's about to get crazy in here! Hey man, we just posted this on Twitter. Any like, any comment, any retweet?
Yo, any comment, any like, any retweet, bro. People that own bags in this, they've already done it all and made a fake account to do the same as well. So there was the reveal for the Pudgy Penguin token at the event. It's funny when they put the egg down, I'm like, has anything come from any egg related NFT? Right? Like Artifact had the Animus, they just rugged. There was the egg way back in the day that people thought they could win like a CryptoPunk from, and then they never ended up revealing. I feel like a lot of collections just do like an egg as a secondary collection, and then it's just, you don't get anything forever. It's weird. So glad that they're not doing an egg and it's a token, but there's your announcement for Pudgy Penguins. And just as a reminder, a lot of these NFTs are getting different quests or coins. So when we talk about the stimulus that we've been going on for like a long time for, it's all this stuff, right? Like if you have an ape, you can stake it. Pudgy Penguins, they're getting tokens. Anime for Izuki, there's a lot of other collections that already have tokens out there, but it seems like for whatever reason there is emphasis on tokens as of like launching in December now instead of like before. It's kind of weird. But this was December 5th. So this was a few days ago, but a 40 ETH Pudgy Penguin sale. There's a lot more sales we're going to go over, but like 9 Bored Apes swept for $707,000. If we care about like the dollar values on things and paying attention, like holy moly, things are happening. We have a 3-landers that sold for 0.71 ETH, which I don't know if this was a fat finger or what, but 3-landers is a collection that unfortunately shut down. They were trying to do things just like all these other collections before, but I guess weren't able to continue. Saw this on the timeline. No capital gains tax on Bitcoin has just been passed in the Czech Republic, with all members of the parliament voting for it. That's kind of spicy. I think that'll bring some positive things. Canadian news out of Vancouver. They consider accepting taxes and fees in Bitcoin as Mayor Ken Sim pushes for a pro-crypto motion to diversify city reserves and embrace innovation. Yo, crypto party, what's going on? Yo, it is a party. It's so wild to be like in this for a while and have so many different theses. And this is a weird one that I want to mention because I feel like I forgot about this, but I was in Niagara Falls. This was 3-4 years ago. I think this was before I was in the Top Shop. I think. And driving around, and it wasn't necessarily like the forgetting like what it's called, but there's like a hills that's like where all the attractions are, but just like outside of it. You love the new look. Hell yeah. Listen, we got like all this like random NFT merch and stuff. This is also one of the other page hoodies, but thank you. I appreciate the compliment. And just outside of like the main downtown, we were driving through areas and businesses were boarded up. It looked awful. This might have been around the time that COVID was going on. I don't think so. I think it was a little bit after. And I was just like, man, how the hell are all these things going to survive? Like, you need a population, you need all these people that are able to travel around and go to these different shops and want to actually shop at these shops. Sure, you have your general settings and whatnot, but like, all this stuff's just going to go online. Now, I had this thought in my mind. I know this sounds kind of like, ooh, okay, you saw a couple shops and you're like, oh, this is all going to happen online. But it was like, it was so devastating because you know that so many people put X amount into whether it be building that business up originally, thinking optimistically about that area. And I'm just like, damn, like, I feel like that's so risky. Like, when you have a worldwide audience online, everything's going to start coming to it. And so far, we've seen that continue to happen. Except when your country restricts what you're allowed to do. So Pump.fun is a site where people are able to launch meme coins on a whim. And I guess the UK said, like, we're just going to ban the site. And that's that's what they did. So that's unfortunate news for anybody out in the UK wanting to use that. But I mean, I saw this chart that was talking about like the Canadian dollar and how like we're just dying. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What's going on with the dollars out of here? This is why we look at other options out there. True. Love this from an artist perspective, from a design perspective. We know that Chicago Bulls also did some things within the NFT space before with different artist collabs. They had one that was doing, I guess this is like a BMO sponsored thing for the Chicago Bulls logo. I love this. Listen, I'd probably even pay for this on secondary. I think that's kind of cool and would love to see more people do cool stuff like that. Let's do it. I know it's not blockchain, but true. Today, Sushi Swap proposes liquidating its treasury's sushi as part of a new diversification strategy. So, to recap, Sushi Swap is wanting to liquidate its own token from its treasury. I mean, I guess you got to diversify, but I mean, when we talk about like Dino coins or stuff that isn't as popular, Sushi Swap and Uniswap, you might be more familiar with Uniswap, were kind of vying for position. I'd call it like similar to how like Blur and OpenSea were, Magic Eden, etc. And Sushi, I feel like, got implemented on certain collections where they made a partnership, right? And I think like CyberKong's might have been one of them where you're able to trade the banana token, but it was like only on Sushi unless people also provided on Uni. Well, I remember that, but there's some kind of thing. And I don't think it really took off the same. Like if we were going to do a comparison, because I guess we could like straight up just do that, right? Because that's what we do in 2024. So Sushi Swap's at number 153 token wise, and Uniswap's at number 21. So like 100 point difference on the market cap size, which is rather significant. Bullish crypto adoption continues to soar with over 400 million active wallets. Nice. Congrats. You're part of the 400 million. An Ether Rock sold for 235 ETH a mil. I don't know. Listen, I'm all about the, what's the right phrasing for this? The wanting to show off, right? Like the status symbol of your traditional profile pic NFT, your avatar. But like, I don't get the rock thing. Like, is it just people agreeing, hey, we're going to swap and make these rocks hella hard? Are people actually wanting to buy them? That would be a hell of an interview. Would love to talk to somebody that bought one of these things. Insane. So Courtyard is doing an auction right now for a Charizard first edition 10 mint. And it's happening on blockchain rails. And I feel that is rather significant. It's on for about 30 days. So we'll probably get more conversation around it on the timeline towards the end of the month. But just an FYI that we do have a 1999 Holo Charizard PSA 10 getting auctioned off on the blockchain. Not bad, not bad. So Star Atlas, listen, there's all these games, and I feel like we've had moments of them getting all the attention, and then it just not being around. Star Atlas looks frickin' phenomenal. Like, genuinely phenomenal. But I don't see anybody talking about it, and I don't get why. I've seen people talking about Parallel a lot, and I don't know if this is like an ETH versus Solana type deal where I'm not following enough people on Solana, but Star Atlas looks freaking phenomenal, to be honest. So I'll wait and see if that gets a little bit more adoption. So I remember when like coming up with like my different theses, right? In my head theses for certain things. And I came across something before that was talking about how the market cap of Home Depot stock was worth more than Ethereum. Now this was maybe a year or two ago. And I was like, nah, that's insane. That's insane. And so there was this post today that I thought was hilarious. Sherwin-Williams, which is like a paint company, has a market cap 4.8 billion higher than MicroStrategy, whose kind of entire value is based off of their Bitcoin holdings. A paint company has a $4.8 billion higher market cap than a company whose entire value is based off of Bitcoin. And like getting nationally recognized. Internationally recognized. Insane. So is Metaverse land back, guys? That's the question. I feel like there's a lot of purchases for this before the full activation, if you will. Like, I think speculation has done the most impact for Metaverse land than any other category within Web3. So Forgotten Ruins highlighting this. I love it though. But Runeverse Town just sold for roughly $28,000. Whole bunch of Ron. We've had conversations about metaverses a ton of time. Do you feel like any of them have been worthwhile for buying the land? Would you spend $28,000 on that right now? There could be a little bit more info about like what those lands specifically get, but I think one of the problems too, if we're going to try to come up with a solution, is a lot of these lands are kind of imply that there's going to be value at some point or some kind of yield, but that's based on if the game's successful, and we don't know how long the game's going to take to actually launch. That is a thing. In Gearin Labs, this was something that was coming out like months ago, but it seems like they're actually getting around to launch. And they were just bull posting here. But by 2025, XRP will transform into something extraordinary. On-chain activity driven by dApps will soar, multiplying by dozens of times. Projects rivaling Uniswap, Chainlink, 1inch, Maker, Compound, and DYDX will rise on the XRP ledger. I do agree that the ecosystem is very underappreciated right now. And I think a lot of that had to do with what was going on in the States. But what do things look like in a crypto positive environment? I watch Bill Noble a lot, and he talks about crypto made in the USA. And Ripple is. So what do we see on the fallout from that? I know a lot of people have tried to avoid launching things within the States. But for those that actually pursued that before, in an uncertain environment, maybe end up being the best winners. So on the Pudgy Penguins trades, there's like a lot of them. Like, so one of these went for like 200,000. I saw Matty B posting this, and he's like, would you trade it for any of these crypto punks? And I'm like, okay, so 50 ETH, 39 ETH. Okay, so like about a 10 ETH difference. But I mean, these move fast, right? Like on the floor, this one's like 40, but then it jumps up to like 43, 2 into it. And it goes up to 50. It's like, oh my God. Would I rather a CryptoPunk or would I rather a Pudgy Penguin? And you have to think, right? We have this like, I think mental viewpoint of, it depends on when you joined in the space, right? Because I got in, we minted Bored Apes, and I was like, I like Bored Apes. I bought a CryptoPunk at a point, and then I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to have all this in like one asset. And then I sold it. And then CryptoPunks, I think it ended up mooning. So we'll ignore that fact. But I feel like, okay, like I don't really relate to it as hard. And I don't know if it's like a certain age thing as well, or just like a vibes, right? The people feel more connected to Pudgies versus CryptoPunks versus other things. Are people going in for a status symbol? Are people going in because they believe that it's a store of value? Do they believe that it's going to go up in value? Do they believe that this whole internet culture thing is going to continue to grow? What are all the rationales and reasons for people to go out and purchase these things? Something we may never know. Now, I want to just like do like a little bit of a PSA. Holy shit, people are stupid. Respectfully. So there was this Cardano, what is it called? Foundation account, right? And it got compromised. And the amount of dummies that immediately went to engagement farming, to believing this, to everything else under the sun. We don't teach anything anymore, it seems like. So it was like probably the most obvious, this is a scam, don't listen to it, that I've ever seen in my life. They were like, yeah, so we got like a notice from the SEC, and we're stopping support on the Cardano token. Keep an eye as we'll explain what will happen to Cardano holders soon and how we will assist you. Something along those lines. And it's like, okay, so you're not making anything for the token anymore, in theory, but you're going to like help us recover everything. Do you know how big Cardano would be and how much money you would need to like give people back on? Like, it made no sense. So anyway, they took a little bit, but they made an announcement saying it was fake. But like the people that were engagement farming and putting wrong narratives out there, listen, that's an unfollow. True. Adam Hollander, we're at one of my favorite parts of the cycle when family members who know nothing about crypto sending me articles explaining why Bitcoin is going to zero. This is, I think, an underappreciated thing. The mental capacity you have to have for people that you know that are like, nah, you're dumb. This is stupid. And for certain things, they're totally right? Like there'll be certain things that they comment or mention and it ends up being true. You might think that it's not right in a certain situation, but this is why you have to have like a strong mental, your own thesis about things and being able to articulate what you think so you don't be like, oh, wait, hold on. I can't defend my own thought and I'm just kind of out to lunch, and then you let others influence you, and then you make super horrible bad decisions, and we don't want that happening. True. Jeff Park, why are so many random countries offering 0% capital gains tax on crypto? It's because they know this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That's kind of what I realized as well, to be honest. Like, a few years ago, I'm like, okay, This feels absolutely like one of those weird once-in-a-lifetime situations. To become the next Switzerland, Singapore, or Cayman. But he's talking about countries. So again, why are they offering 0% capital gains? Because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bring all the capital. All the capital. Frig off, Barb. Don't send me articles. Nah, that's crazy. What's going on, Ray Stinger? Dude, I was like scrolling on TikTok the other day, right? What a crazy site that is. And there was this couple that was dressed up as Randy and Leahy, and man, oh man, it was priceless. But good to see you, sir. And listen, you need to talk with a little bit more confidence. I'm not talking about Ray. I'm not talking about Crypto Party. I'm not talking about Gigabit. I'm talking about all of you. Because this is the kind of stuff that comes out that creates legends. So Spencer, who I've interviewed on the RWA Segments podcast, again, would love for you guys to check that out. New episode drops tomorrow about all security, which is really insightful. We've had the person who's in charge of Web3 at Rolling Loud, which was the other week. We've had just awesome guests, including actually the guy from Courtyard. So that the Charizard 10 gem mint, they're tokenizing Pokemon cards on chain, and it's really cool. So Spencer, all those others, if you want to check out that podcast, it's in the YouTube description below or on my X profile. But Spencer went out and he built Orange Cap Games, which is building the Vibes TCG, which is the Pudgy Penguin branded trading card game. But this is back like a year ago. He got in the news because 3AC Fire Sale, which, if you remember, Three Arrows Capital kind of went up in smoke. But Spencer ventures to buy 144 Pudgy Penguins. So if we do 144 times, what was it, like $85,000? So that bet they made is now worth $12.2 million. And all of a sudden, does your perspective on this Spencer guy change? Because, wow, they made an absolutely genius move. And this is why I've been preaching a little bit on the timeline. Talk your game, talk about what you're doing, explain to others why you're bullish on things. Like, understand that you are an expert on certain topics that people just like casually go on the timeline and try to learn about. If you're not talking to your friends, right? And you don't have to by any means, but I think you realize how vastly ahead you are knowledge-wise on crypto, NFTs, whatever. Even if you're wrong on like, oh, I bought this thing because I thought it was going to get adoption. It doesn't matter. You now have that experience. You can have references to certain things. But talk your talk if you think you know what you're talking about, because damn, what a time. And we mentioned earlier about people just like not cluing into the space, like just completely checking out. And PP highlighting, bro bought this 3 years ago and I guess just has no idea. Wizards and swordsmen are rare. If whoever was bidding isn't paying attention, I see this reselling to a collector very soon. So it's got the wizard hat. It's got, what did he call it? A swordsman? That doesn't really look like a sword. I mean, I guess so. That handle's like way too long though. Anyway, but this one for basically the floor. But these are selling because people want that status symbol. They want to buy those rares. There's a narrative around Pudgy token going more to rares, which I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like most times that never happens. But prime example of people just like checking out and like kind of logging in, being like, I'm just going to floor this when they could have waited a day. I mean, even priced it a little bit higher. That's a lot. Virtual Bacon, who is a very insightful individual. You might see them on the timeline for YouTube videos, on X a lot too. Probably one of the earliest people I found doing content way back in the day, and obviously had a huge come up, 149,000 followers. But he's calling for 6 months of a bull run, then sell in May and go away. That's the least we can expect of this cycle. Too early to be calling for exits right now. Do agree. A lot of people are like, hey, we moved a little bit. Get the hell out of Dodge. Pudgy Penguin, 45 ETH. We're being forced to talk about Pudgy Penguins at this point from the amount of attention that they're getting. JJ also bringing up that Steph Curry, yes, the Golden State Warriors basketball player, has his Pudgy Penguin. And we can go and look at that account maybe some other point. But they had an ape that had a whole bunch of different things. What happens if we have like celebrities that come into the space that are actually here for collecting and not trying to do a meme token, which that whole Hawk to a token, I've seen that on Call of Duty partner live streams with Zuma and the gang on the flank. I've seen it across my Facebook timeline with just people that didn't even think were in crypto. I've seen it on the X timeline all the friggin' time the past few days. It's insane how much that transcended. Another Pudgy Penguin for 50 ETH. Guys, all the grails are getting swept up on the collection. What's going on? 9gag from Meme Land. Apparently they're doing something spicy to bring attention to their collection.
These are the things that we are also doing, right? And then the last thing that we are doing right now, I mean, this is like pure alpha, right? I think we haven't mentioned it publicly, but this is the first time. We're actually acquiring a public company, right? So that we can launch something kind of like MicroStrategy, right? But for meme coin, right? I mean, the details is still being worked out, right? But I hope that can bring some new eyeballs, new energy, right, into meme coins instead of just like PvP around this like 100,000 people, right? I think for us, we believe that meme coin is probably the best way. I mean, other than Bitcoin, other than all these like good layer 1, layer 2 and good exchanges, meme coin is probably the easiest way for people to get into crypto, right? And I think for us, we hope that we can become the more responsible builder in this category, right? So that people can believe that, okay, meme coin is actually constructive, right? Meme coin is not like something harmful to the whole space. Yeah, hopefully.
So that's interesting, right? So we're trying to rewrite the narrative saying meme coins aren't harmful, which again, we've seen a lot of people have massive come ups through the meme coin area, also giving credit to layer ones, but he's saying that we're going to do something like MicroStrategy, but with meme coins. What the hell does that mean? Intel Jupiter DAO approves 860 million Jupuary airdrop. That'll be good for markets. And also, final thing that we're going to mention, if you're big on brands and AI, a new one just dropped between Man City and Deep Objects AI. So this is like literally zero volume, right? Like nobody is buying these, but they just had a collab with Manchester City where you can create their third kit, in an AI design of sorts. So like, here's the video. It's AI generated. But it's a huge partnership, and everybody's able to do that. And we're starting to see AI becoming a prominent point of view whether it be in crypto, whether it be on things that you love, sports, entertainment, etc. I don't know. Feeling kind of bullish about things. But that's it for this edition of XFeed. Gigabit Crypto Party, Ray Stinger. Yo, you guys are legends. Appreciate anybody that watches afterwards as well. Hope you guys have a phenomenal day and enjoyed this session. I will see you tomorrow as per usual. And tomorrow also at 10:30 a.m., we're doing one of the RWA collectibles segment spaces. And so if you're wanting to come on down, we will be talking about tokenization of wines and other goodies that are on the blockchain. So if you're wanting to learn about how the hell all that stuff works, keep an eye on the X page and I will retweet it when we're there. But tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. EST. Okay, peace.